Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank those who take their time in one way or the other to support our channel. The Kenya Power and Lighting Company is really messing us up. Sitting in darkness for 24 good hours really is not fair. Blackout for 24 hours so we cannot work, we can't produce any videos. This is really unacceptable and we really urge the Kenya Power to do something. There seems to be a wind of change in the African continent. Leaders and their followers, especially the opposition leaders and their followers, have refused to sit down and watch the continent go down the drains and go to the dogs. And so they have resolved that they want to protest and show the whole world that they are not happy. On 20th, which is the world's happiness day, in Kenya, South Africa, Tunisia, Nigeria, and in many other countries, the opposition leaders have decided that they are going to stage mega mass actions and demonstrations to protest against the powers that be. Most of these powers have been installed by the Western nation, and the opposition leaders and Africans themselves are saying no. We cannot allow indirect neo-colonialism. And as 20th draws near by the day, several developments continue to transpire in Africa. The latest one that must worry my president and the other presidents in the other countries is what happened in Senegal. In Senegal, there is a young politician, a man called Ousmane Sonko. So Ousmane Sonko is only 46 years old. He vied in 2019 and he became third. Ever since the conclusion of the elections in 2019, Ousmane Sonko has been a thorn in the flesh to the Senegalese government. Now, Mr. Macky Sall will complete his term in 2024, but there are fears that they want to mutilate the constitution to extend his tenure. Something that Mr. Ousmane is saying that he's going to oppose to the last drop of his blood. And it seems that the machinations across Africa are just the same. The presidents in Africa are using the same archaic tactics to attack their opponents. So what they have done with Mr. Ousmane Sonko is that they have tried to level some charges against him. And today he was facing two charges. One has been leveled against him by the tourism minister, Mr. Mame Mbaye, who is accusing him of defamation because he had alleged that he misused some funds. The other charge is that of rape. There is a certain lady who said that Mr. Ousmane raped him. But his opponents feel that these charges are politically motivated to intimidate him so that he can drop his political ambitions to become the president of Senegal. So today they went for him because he had a date with the court, and the supporters were very ready because he had told his supporters to rally behind him on this day when he was going to face these charges. So the supporters came out in large numbers. The police also went there, broke his car, and took him out, and they took him to the court. Just watch what happened, and you will know that there is a wind of change across Africa, because it seems that the only thing that we understand is the demonstrations. Most of the nations in Africa have got the freedom of picketing entrenched in their constitution. But whatever will happen on 20th, ladies and gentlemen, is one that must be handled very carefully, because I have realized that most presidents copy from each other. They copy paste how to deal with their opponents. And it has now turned out that even the opposition leaders are now copying from each other. And one person who has been at the forefront to give an example is Raila Odinga. He's leading an opposition against this government, and he has done this over the years. He did it with President Moi, President Kibaki, and President Uhuru Kenyatta. And so most of the opposition leaders in Africa now see the Raila's blueprint as the only way to do it. What does this portend to President William Samoei Ruto, who is also preparing to repel supporters of Raila Odinga, the supporters of Azimio, on 20th? Because there is some wind of uncertainty in Kenya, in South Africa, and in all the nations where demonstrations will take place. It is reported that in Kenya, even the security is divided. They do not know how to handle the Raila supporters. There are those diehards who feel that Raila Odinga should not be allowed to continue with the rallies because they say it will paint Kenya in a bad picture. It will give us a bad name. They also say that this will not mean well to the investors in the country, and they're saying that it will slow down the growth of the economy. So they say that Raila should not be allowed and the supporters must be dealt with fiercely and thoroughly. But there's another school of thought that feels that Raila Odinga is within his rights to hold demonstrations. So it's something that is causing worries within the government. And so we don't know how it's going to be. But it seems that the leaders have decided that they will not take any more intimidation from the powers that be. Because over the years, you've seen countries where a president will even beat up an opposition leader. Some years back, the opposition leader of Uganda was beaten thoroughly until I think some pepper was placed in his eyes and he came for treatment in our country. Every election here, when you see what is happening and how the government is dealing with the opposition and the opposition supporters, you wonder whether we have democracy in Africa. And one thing that surprises me is that the USA, which has always come and masqueraded at champions of democracy, will watch as some of these presidents beat and even massacre their supporters, and they don't talk about it, yet they say that they stand for democracy because they want those leaders to continue in power, maybe helping them to get some resources within Africa. The ordinary man is also very tired of the kind of tyranny that is going on, because most of these presidents who have been installed by the West do not care about the welfare of the ordinary man. The prices of basic commodities will always go up and they don't care. They will keep on promising and promising forever. They get to power, they align themselves to the policies of the West, like most of the African presidents today have decided to remove every subsidy courtesy of the demands of the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. So they do this as they leave their citizens languishing in poverty. And the ordinary man is now saying that enough is enough. We want to stand up for our rights. Because over time immemorial, ever since we started even fighting the tyrannical and the cruel leadership of the colonial masters, it took the courage of men and women who stood up to be counted, and they had to go for illegal gatherings. They aired out their position that they said that it is time Africa becomes independent. Now it is very funny that years after independence, we realize that the colonial master has come back through the back door and they give us the leaders who they want, not the leaders who we want. And so on 20th, things are going to be very bad, and all the presidents are being called upon to ensure that they deal with this in a very wise manner, because if they are not careful, whatever is going to start as a trivial demonstration might end up even removing them from office. It has happened in Tunisia. It happened in Egypt. It also happened in North Sudan. So whatever is going to happen is something that might be the beginning of a historical event that will go down in the abyss of history. If leaders are not careful, they will continue on the same path, and wananchi have also decided that they're not going to sit up. I want to tell President Ruto that the only way to solve this problem is very simple. If Raila is making demands that what he wants is opening and scrutiny of the server, this is the easiest way to know who won, because from the authority and from the confidence that you've been exuberant is that you won. And so we just request that instead of letting people go to the streets, instead of letting people go there to start fighting, it is very simple. If this server can be opened so that we know the winner, it is not asking for too much. And if the powers lie with the judiciary, why can't the judiciary just stand up and say, in the interest of the ordinary man, we want to open this server so that we see the winner? Because if you ask me, in Kenya, the main thing is the server. And after that, we will know who won. Then we will now go on with other things like lowering down the cost of living and all the other things. So ladies and gentlemen, from what happened today in Senegal, it shows that leaders, the opposition leaders, the common man themselves are very tired and they don't want to take it anymore. I understand that people are saying that whatever is going to happen on 20th is about the people and all, not the leaders. That even if the leaders are going to abandon this course, they are going for it until they get their rights. Electoral justice, food justice, because there is no food in our baskets, and they're going to fight corruption. I don't know what you think, but will you attend that rally, ladies and gentlemen? Please share with me and tell me what you'll do, whether you support these demonstrations or you think that it is bad for the country.